Welcome to Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine. I'm your host, Jill Jardine, Master's in Counseling Psychology, longtime astrologer, psychic healer, and yogi. In today's episode, my guest is Nico Martins, talking about the Cosmic Tower. You're going to want to stay tuned to hear more and raise your vibration. Welcome to the episode featuring my guest, Nico Martins, talking about the Cosmic Tower. Nico Martins is a former high-achieving leader at Procter & Gamble and Hewlett-Packard. Nico Martins experienced a profound shift when his mother's passing unveiled a reality beyond the physical senses. Despite leaving her body, she provided him with undeniable proof of multi-dimensional communication. These extraordinary encounters shattered his conventional understanding of reality, compelling him to question everything he once believed about science and higher consciousness. Now, Nico is on a mission to bridge the gap between science, subtle energy, and higher awareness. As a speaker, innovator, and playful guide, he shares transformative insights into the unseen realms, inspiring others to embrace their true nature and tap into the vast potential for human consciousness to shape reality. Reformed mechanical engineer, after years in the corporate world, Nico now integrates consciousness, subtle energy, and the unseen realms into the scientific paradigm. Revealing human potential. By understanding the true nature of science and energy, Nico unlocks the secrets of who we are and what we are capable of achieving. The power of playfulness. Nico helps individuals and communities break free from limitations through unrelenting playfulness. That's Nico, and the Cosmic Tower, well, this device is here to help restore planetary harmony. Our world is saturated with disruptive electromagnetic fields that mainstream science refuses to acknowledge, let alone address, despite their detrimental effects on all levels of creation. The Cosmic Tower offers a simple yet groundbreaking natural solution utilizing full-spectrum rainbow water and natural toroidal fields to harmonize harmful EMFs, revitalize your environment, and uplift your body, mind, and spirit. We now are dealing with increasing radiation, but now we face a new choice. Will we create harmonized energy fields instead? Over 25,000 proud Cosmic Tower owners have already chosen yes. Nico, a dedicated steward of the Cosmic Tower project, is committed to empowering people, restoring the planet, and supporting all living beings. It is our honor and pleasure to welcome Nico to Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine. Hey, Nico.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to have this talk with you.
We're so psyched that you're here on your Cosmic Tower road trip as a stop in the Boston area.
Yes, very, very happy to be here.
And I know my listeners have tons of questions, and I want to hear more about the Cosmic Tower. I've had the honor of having one for about a month, and it's rocked my world. But I think our listeners want to hear from you more about it.
Yeah, happy to explain more. And what really excited me about the Cosmic Tower when I first met the inventor is that it wasn't just another EMF solution to protect you and your family, but that it was really focused also on regenerating nature and build a grid of light to deal with things systemically, because we have forgotten that our lungs don't work in a vacuum. Our lungs have a relationship with the trees. And we have all these external organs. We call them vegetables, we call them fruits. And, if Mother Earth is not doing well, we don't live on the earth, we live in the earth. We're a part of the ecosystem. And I was so happy to know that the Cosmic Tower actually had a solution for us to help support the earth again and become stewards again versus keeping cannibalizing the earth.
I love that. And not a moment too soon, right? With everything that's going on. So it really is bringing everything together in a holistic way. And the way that it's working with the earth, it's also working with our bodies because we are of the earth.
Is exactly, and I spent the last 3 years in Egypt. I have a very strong relationship
Wow.
with Egypt, and the best way I can describe it, it's because what the Egyptians did, the ancient civilizations, they built the temples, but the temples aren't randomly built. They're built on sacred power spots. They're natural power spots in the earth, and then that energy is amplified and it's spread through the community, so the whole civilization thrives, and also the land and the plants and the animals. So for me, the cosmic tower is that same principle, but in a more modern package. So it's portable, so people can bring a sacred power spot into their home.
And that's really what it feels like after experiencing it as somebody who's worked with energy for years and years, and vibration, sound, light. It seems to encompass all of those and all the benefits that you get when you're in a vortex or in a positive force field, although it does emit negative ions, as walking by the ocean would, or being in. So, and the other thing is that I like in the description of the cosmic tower is it says that it works on you homeopathically. And Americans, a lot of Americans don't know. Maybe Europeans are more familiar with homeopathy. I studied it back in the 90s. What that means is it's removing layers.
Yes.
It's going in like what's presenting right now that needs to be cleared from your body, mind, spirit.
Yes, correct. People always ask, does it do this? Does it do that? Does it heal this? And I'm like, no, it just provides an environment, and your body already has the intelligence. Your body already knows what to do. So the inventor would talk about how it would basically provide all the remedies of homeopathy, but think of them as frequencies.
Yes.
So when the frequencies are provided and the outer environment and our inner environment is clear, healing happens naturally. The body knows how to do it.
Well, that's another piece of it that I love. It reminded me that like we have our innate body wisdom, we have our innate intelligence, divine intelligence in the body, physically, mentally, emotionally, but we forget that. And it's been reminding me of the innate intelligence that pulses through our physicality.
Yes, we each have a connection to wisdom within us, and to all that is, and that's part of what the towers are doing. They're reminding us of that again. And they not so much do a call to action, but a call to remembrance, who we really are. And that's what I feel these times are about. We're either going to have a golden age or fall on our face.
Right.
And what happens depends on all of us.
Right. And not to go off the subject, but I do feel like we're in a time of split realities. Like some people are living one reality while others are living a different reality, and some may be very high vibrational and some may be mundane or not as conscious. So that's very interesting that we have the cosmic tower at this time to raise our vibration to be in one that maybe is more consciousness expansion.
Yeah, and even beyond raising our vibration, because of the vibration is rising on the planet. For me, it's more about integration and really bringing that in the body and embodying it. And the cosmic towers help do that.
Beautiful. That's the word I keep using, embodiment. So people, when they talk about spiritual or consciousness, they think it's like how they're thinking or how they're viewing or their perception of their life or the world. But you're right. It's all about embodiment. It's all within us. The consciousness is part of our body. And that's why people, a lot of people get ill, because there's a split between the body, mind. And the beauty of the cosmic tower, it gets you back in your body in a very loving and gracious way.
Yes, absolutely. And I think the reason a lot of people have such a hard time being in their bodies because of our environment.
Right.
With the EMFs, with everything going on, it's just like, oh, it's not comfortable. So I have clients all the time that they're not in their body. So the cosmic tower then provides like a natural power spot, like a harmonious environment, making it safe for people to drop back into their body.
So now for the skeptics or the scientists or the ones who are more logical, they may be wondering, well, how does it do that? How does it protect you from EMF? How does it protect you from 5G, 6G, and all this radiation coming at us? What would you say to them?
Yeah, it's a great question. And first of all, I was one of those skeptics for most of my life, for
great.
36 years. I didn't believe in anything subtle energy or spiritual for 36 years until my mother passed away through euthanasia. And then she, in Belgium, which is legal. And then she came back and started waking me up.
Oh,
And she
wow.
started showing up in my dreams. And then I met my first mentor, who was a Reiki master, and she was a natural channel. So we would have lunch every 2 weeks. Kelly, my mentor, and mom in spirit. And it was just like she was sitting at the table. She had never met my mother. So, and she predicted all these things that my mother predicted through Kelly about my future, and they all started
Wow.
happening. So that's how I woke up. It was literally like in my face. And then I realized that what science considers reality is only 2% of our reality. It's just like if you know about how the mind works, you cannot change with your conscious mind. It's in the subconscious mind that you have to go in. You have to go below the water level with the iceberg.
Right.
And this is the same. So then going on my spiritual journey, I had all these experiences. And then later I started studying biogeometry with Dr. Gilbert, who just passed away, and with Dr. Ibrahim Karim,
Oh, wow.
which is a more holistic science that actually includes the 98%, the subtle realms that mainstream science excludes. So can I explain the cosmic tower from the 2% point of view? Absolutely not. But definitely if we include the 98% of reality that science excludes.
Which that 98% is both the subconscious and superconscious, or what we
Yes.
would call spiritual, metaphysical, mystical. The cosmic tower, that's its domain.
Yes, absolutely. So basically, if you look in the 2%, it's what most people know as linear time,
Right.
right? And it's cause and effect. But if you go to the 98%, it's the faster than the speed of light. And it's where everything, where the multidimensionality lives, and it's governed by completely different rules. It's governed by what we call resonance.
Here we go. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so everything is connected. We all know from spiritual traditions there's only one, right? And then if you go beyond the speed of light, everything connects through resonance, which means most people know about resonance with a tuning fork. You hit it and another one of the same quality starts vibrating.
Right.
And then we also know with a piano, it goes more vertically in octaves too, to where the same quality repeats every octave. So imagine that, but then expand it far beyond to where you have these qualities in nature and they all resonate through all levels of existence. So also a particular color corresponds to a particular sound, to a particular smell. So we have this multidimensional tapestry, and most of it is beyond the speed of light. So traditional science says Big Bang, which I couldn't wrap my head around. From nothing exploded everything. That
Right.
never made sense to me. But when we go to like the physics of quality or more holistic sciences, the Big Bang is really late in the process. The energy has already come all the way down from source and has been slowed down to the speed of light.
Okay. Yeah.
Right, so that's a very different way of approaching things. Science tries to break stuff down and then hoping to figure out the whole. We start from the whole,
Right.
and then the life force comes down, and then ultimately we have this physical manifestation that we consider reality, but there's so much more beyond.
Right. And so this is working in the unseen realms, or
Yes.
those non-physical, the causal, metaphysical planes, and it's bringing things into harmony and resonance.
Yes, because most people, when it comes to EMF, they think about blocking.
Right.
Block it out. You cannot block it out.
Okay.
It's not possible. A, because it's everywhere now and there's satellites, but B, also because there is a component that is not electromagnetic in nature. It's what people would call scalar waves,
Yes. Go. Yes. We want to hear about this.
right? And so the best analogy I can give you, definitely in Boston, if you look at a boat going on the river, you have the big wave first. You could consider that the electromagnetic radiation, but then you have the small ripples, and they just linger and linger, and they spread far and wide. And if you have multiple boats, they go into this resonance to where basically there's a continuous like vibrations on the water. Now imagine that in the ether. So there's a continuous sound in the background, an inaudible sound that's like death metal. And your ears can't hear it, but your cells are listening to it 24/7, all day long. And the issue with that is like you cannot measure that with an EMF meter. Right? So consider magnetic radiation, the rain coming down, the fog is like the electrosmog phenomena, which is non-electromagnetic in nature. And you cannot shield from that because these scalar waves or longitudinal compression waves, whatever you want to call them, they travel straight through a Faraday cage.
Wow.
So you can block from that, but you can harmonize.
Okay.
And harmonization means it's all about quality. If you have an EMF meter, I could have a weapon here and a healing machine that both give me the same value on the EMF meter, but the EMF meter cannot tell you which one will kill you or which one will heal you.
That's wild.
Right? So that's why we call it the physics of quality. We're not so worried about how strong is a field. We're concerned with what effect does this field have on living organisms?
Yes.
What is the quality of it? And what we can do through harmonization, and the cosmic towers are not the only ones that use that principle. The science of biogeometry uses that. It basically says, rather than trying to block it out, we change the energy quality to where it's no longer detrimental for living organisms.
That's amazing, changing the quality of the energy. I want to just comment too on something you were talking about in that last explanation, is that frequency that's like not heard. They speak of this in spiritual traditions, specifically in the Vedic traditions and other traditions like Kundalini Yoga, which comes from Gurmukh is the language, but it's called the Shabd, Shabd, and that's the sound current that exists inaudibly, but is there. But when you start doing practices like, let's say, playing the gong or chanting in Sanskrit or another sacred language, you tap into that frequency and then you can ride it. And of course, that's the source of life force and the source of spirit. So it's interesting. This sounds like this is connected to that as well.
Absolutely it is. And life force, it's so important.
Hey listeners, it's a great time to book a reading. So check out my website, JillJardineAstrology.com/shop and pick the kind of reading or service you would like.
Life force is the strongest force. It makes planets go around stars. Entire galaxies are all driven by life force. And it's not like we need to generate life force. We're always like, we got to generate more life force. Well, that's like a fish trying to create water.
Yes.
Really, we need to harmonize all the planes of existence, and the life force is already there. We're tapping back into it.
Yes. Okay. This is great. I have other questions for you, but I also am thinking, as a listener, they might be wondering, how does the Cosmic Tower do that? How is it made? Why is it able to do all this?
Yes, and for that, we have to go back to nature. Nature is the greatest teacher. And what creates a sacred power spot in nature? It's underground crossings of rock water.
Yes.
And this is not regular water. This is water 10,000 years or older with all the frequencies in it. That's like healing water, living water. And when they cross, you can visualize just like a vortex forming, like a lot of people are familiar with maybe in Sedona.
Yes.
And that's this like this toroidal field. So that's this energy that's created by the action of the water. And the Cosmic Tower works on that same principle, right? There's no wires hanging off. You don't plug it into an outlet. So there's basically two vessels of water, one in the top, one in the bottom, and there's a crystal in the center. Now, in these vessels of water, they contain healing water, but a special mixture to where you have the full rainbow spectrum of light present in the water. So they went through 600 samples, found the two that are complementary or how many they had to mix, but there couldn't be overlap, and because then it would cancel out or over amplify. So it basically has this rainbow water in it, and then it gets activated to where the water in the bottom vessel starts going counterclockwise.
Yes.
And the one in the top clockwise. And don't think of it as like physically spinning around, but more on the subatomic level.
Okay.
Like the Russians talk about torsion fields, for example. Sure. And when you do that, and you counterclockwise and clockwise, the toroidal field gets opened up and starts.
Right. And for people who don't know what the toroidal field is, or a torus, TOROS, maybe a little brief description of that.
Yeah, so the torus is really like, you could call it the energetic flow of everything in the universe, all the way from the electron to the universe itself. And it kind of looks like a donut.
Yes.
Right? You can think of it like that. And if you Google it, you'll find it everywhere. And then you start seeing it in everything physical. You start seeing the presence of the
Toroidal
the
field.
toroidal field. So everything, in a sense, like a Russian doll, is toroidal fields nested within each other. And again, like for human beings, we have a toroidal field, maybe the heart being the biggest one.
Yes.
And so we think we get most of our energy from food, but that's not true. A lot of it we get from the resonance of our toroidal field with the toroidal field of the earth.
That's beautiful. And so the cosmic tower will help you with that resonance.
Absolutely, because now you basically have continuous like life force available through the resonance with the cosmic tower field, which also resonates with the earth and with the galaxy's toroidal field. So there's a continuous throughput of new energy. Plus then there's also a harmonization of anything that's in your environment that's not in alignment with nature. I mean, in our minds, people break it up. How can it do toxins and it can do this and it can do that? Well, if you go down on the energy, on the subtle energy level, it's all very similar. It's all the same.
Right. And then for those people, here's a mundane application. Actually, it helps your metabolism. I've noticed since I've had it that like I'm not having to eat as much. I'm running energy in a different way.
Yep.
And it's helping me almost like work with my body's rearranging itself so that it's in a more of a healthy. And so, i.e., for those, you can lose weight if you have one in your house. Well, for some people, if they need to, or if some, they may need to gain it, it actually helps the physical come into alignment with the proper energetic.
And it all depends on where you are in your journey and what you need at that moment.
Right.
And a lot of us, like, because how can it do all of that and harmonize all of that? Well, think of a scale. When a scale is out of balance, we only think about quantity, adding or removing weight. Can move the center and the scale's back in balance.
There we go. So it's moving us to center.
Yes.
Nico, this is fascinating. I have several more questions for you. You've traveled the world sharing these towers and helping people tune into their energies. How do people feel its presence? And maybe you can share some examples of how it communicates or interacts with a person or a space.
Yeah, and it really depends on the person. Like a lot of times people come to us and say, the moment I decided to get one, I got a dream that night, or I felt like it was reaching out to me. Totally possible because it's outside of time and space, right? For a big part. So people would get a name for it, or there was light talking in their dreams. We get that. Then there's people that get it upon arrival, and some already feel it from the box. And then some people have an instant connection and communication with it.
Right.
While with others, maybe are not that sensitive to that type of energy. So, but they see it then in their outer environment. Wow, my kids are getting along better. The plants are thriving. A lot of times because it goes beyond your home. Well, you're not going to believe this. These neighbors haven't said hi in 3 years. And I got this tower and I've had it now for 10 days. And they've completely changed. Is that possible? Absolutely, it's possible. Because people, whether they're aware of it or not, are constantly affected by this subtle energy that most of us cannot perceive. So when that changes, all the dynamics change.
Right. And what you said about it communicating, when I received my cosmic tower, it did exactly that. It's like, bring me inside, unpack me immediately. And then it started telling me what to do to get my space set up to welcome it and have it like operate properly or have it do its thing. And it was literally communicating to me pretty strongly for the whole afternoon when it first arrived. And the other thing we should talk about, what it does when you're sleeping. Because I was having wild, like really healing dreams, and almost like it was too much in my room. I had to move it back to the main room. But then once I integrated with it, I brought it into my room, and then it's like, yeah, we're going to give you a good, deep knockout sleep. So maybe there's something you can say too about that, how it works with you when you're not awake.
Yeah, absolutely. So That's the number one comment I would say we get consistently, that people say, wow, I haven't slept this good in years. So either they sleep deeper. The other thing is dreams are more vivid, and dream recall
Right. I've
is
noticed that
is
too.
much better. And to me, like sleeping in a way is almost like meditation in the sense, but most people lose consciousness through the process. To where it's so difficult these days because we have all this inaudible sound I talked about before, all
Right.
these triggers that are constantly like irritating our mental or an emotional body. So it becomes really difficult to get deep, restful sleep, or it might take a long time to meditate, right? But the tower, it's like kind of like sleeping in nature. And also, it really helps what I've noticed. Like most people are stuck in their sympathetic nervous system.
Yes.
They're fight or flight all day long. And the tower just allows them to come back into a parasympathetic.
Exactly. That's what I was going to mention. It does do a nervous system reset.
Yeah.
For sure. I felt that right away. And it also will help with things like the adrenals, where we go into fight or flight. Or I mentioned to you off mic that I had just returned from a pretty long trip on 7 different airplanes for a couple weeks. And I thought it was going to take me a really long time to recover from that. But within 24 hours, I was back thanks to the Cosmic Tower. So it does help with that regenerative
Yes.
and that restoring of your field, of your life force, of your energy, so you can get back to what you need to do.
Yeah, that's right. That's been my experience being on the road with 3 hours of sleep
Right.
for days in a row, but a car full of cosmic towers and
Yes, tell us a
the
little bit
energy.
about that, a little aside here about the Cosmic Tower road trip that you've been doing.
I've been all over, starting in Sarasota, went to Atlanta, and then I was a speaker at Return to Nature, which is a quantum wellness event. And I spoke there for 100 people, and I went to Asheville and Winston-Salem, and I just had a little break over the holidays.
Yeah, and now you're up in New England. Different vibe here. We really need the
yeah.
Cosmic Towers. And for those that are new to all this, how is the Cosmic Tower different from other technologies, and what real world changes have you seen when people bring one into the home? And i.e., you were alluding to this, the community, the whole,
Yes.
it affects the whole community or neighborhood. So what are some of the feedback that you have received about that?
Yeah, so what sets it apart really is that it doesn't use electricity or anything like that. It uses nature's principles, natural materials. And then what got me excited about the project is the really large towers. So the 7'2" and 8'2", because of their abilities to go like a 250-mile radius.
Wow.
Or like a 310-mile radius, to where they're helping nature, supporting nature, regenerating nature, dealing with the EMFs, but also supporting the smaller towers because they operate as a family in a way. So if somebody has a large tower near you, you will benefit even more from your smaller tower because it takes care of a lot of the workload
Wow.
for the small towers.
That's so cool.
And we had the inventor sold over 25,000 in Europe, like under 3 years. There's over 800 of the really large ones
In Europe?
in Europe.
Which countries?
A lot in Switzerland.
Okay, well, that makes
Switzerland,
sense.
Yeah, Germany, Austria. I'm going into Italy, France, Holland, Belgium. So they're all over there, and that's what got me excited about it, because there was a German dowser that rode in, and he'd done all these measurements. He was a professional dowser, and he was super excited. So he got a big one, and then there were 3 nuclear sites
Whoa.
that had been decommissioned, but the fuel rods were still there, and people were getting cancer all the time, even though the government said, oh, the readings are fine. So
Wow.
he went out there, and he went to measure, and he couldn't get in his car fast enough. He said it was so bad when he measured the subtle energy.
Yes.
And he came back home, and he worked with this large tower to focus on those 3 sites, and he was blown away that it only took 3 days to clean up, like, the effects of the radioactivity there. Now, if you think about something like radioactivity from a mainstream science point of view, it's an incredibly difficult problem to deal with.
Right.
Not if you go in the subtle realms. And this was not asked for, this report. He sent that in and said, here's what happened. And that got me super excited, because I always knew for all the big problems in the world, we have the solutions.
Right.
And here it was. I was like, no, that's something I can get behind.
Excellent. Yeah, so you answered a question that I had for you is how the towers can support humanity in general right now,
Yes.
both energetic, spiritually, and socially, and with the detoxification. And,
Yeah.
and you just kind of gave us the answer of that. And socially, I think it's making shiny, happy people, like that REM song. People are really happy when they're around them, from what I've seen.
It is. And what people don't realize is that many of the symptoms of EMF are not physical in nature. They're like depression, just not having
All the
zest for
anxiety.
life, the anxiety, and aggression. And once we restore the energy field, people start getting along again, right? And yeah, they feel connected again. And that's a big part of what we need right now.
Right. The anxiety is through the roof for
Yeah.
people. And as you said, the depression, it's like they're both like flip sides. But yeah, there is so much emotional energy that's people feel really hopeless because they can't control it and they'd rather not be on medication because that's not helping it. So it's good to know we have something available for people. Before we go out here, this has been a great conversation, Nico. Thank you so much. I think some of the actual different towers that you offer, you mentioned them, but what sizes and how people can get one. I mean, we will have the link in the show notes, but a little bit about the different sizes and what they are good for. I mean, you did mention some of this, but just giving people more specifics.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first one is the Cosmic Tower Mini, and that was really designed to protect you while you're outside of, the range of your larger towers. So you can take it through TSA in your carry-on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
What do they say when they see it?
well, I haven't had it pulled out yet. I got pre-check and they never stopped me.
So it just makes itself invisible to go through.
Well, I always set that intention too. So.
Yeah.
So you have that one, right? And it's really just to protect you.
Right.
It doesn't have enough energy to help you with the healing and
Right.
make your field stronger, because
Okay.
it all depends on how much water is in it and how far the
Right.
vessels are spread apart. And then we go in what we call the personal ones, the ones from your home for your family.
Right.
Like the one you have here is the Cosmic Tower 35.
Yeah.
We have this one, and it goes about 100 yards radius, about 300 feet around your home, where it harmonizes everything.
Okay.
And within that radius, your water is structured, it's EMFs are harmonized, like your food gets reinvigorated with life force. So that, and then also your spiritual development and just helping with relationships in the home and beyond. And then we have the next size up. So the number stands for how tall they are in centimeters.
Okay. 35.
So 35, and then the 75 is a bit more than double the size. But it's 6 times more powerful than the 35 because it's not like a linear scale. So that one, I would say, will go about, a 400 to a 600 yard radius around your home. And then we get into the next category, which is the Cosmic Tower 220 and 250. So they're 7 or 8 foot tall.
Wow.
And those are really there to build a network that supports humanity, that supports the earth, that supports nature. So those will go about 250 miles in radius, and the other one, I think, about 310 miles in radius. So a
Wow.
620-mile diameter.
Those are the ones that are in Europe now, right?
In Europe, and we have them here too. We have 45 of them. I have
Okay.
a map that I
In the
can
United
share in
States?
the United States. We have 45 of them set up now. But it's not like, for example, you get one for New York and it's done.
Right.
It depends on the amount of distorted energies that are
Exactly.
present, etc. So we would need, a lot of the bigger ones. But I like that. Like, my dream is really that a few years from now, kids don't even have to worry about the EMFs anymore. It can be like when I grew up. We just went
Right.
outside and we never had to worry about these things.
Exactly.
And we can get back to that. And yeah, that's what lights me up about it.
Imagine all the people living in EMF peace.
Yeah, and ultimately, I also see the Cosmic Towers in a way as like training wheels for humanity, because we do have that power within ourselves.
Right.
So in the future, I see all of us being like walking harmonizers. But it's great to have training wheels. like when you learn to ride a bike,
Right.
you know?
And I think they are a precursor of the technologies that are already here on the planet that, big money, big pharma, and all of those other organizations that hold the power and the greed haven't let come forth. But now that there's more of an awakening happening, people are going to demand this availability. Tesla was way ahead of his time with his technology. And some of the technologies that we've had guests who are really into, let's say, the Venusian technologies, things from Venus and the Pleiades. So it's time. It's time when all of this needs to be available to the Earth. And we're so lucky that we have the Cosmic Tower.
Yes, and all these technologies are there, and there will be more coming.
Right.
And it all depends on our consciousness. I always tell people, don't worry so much about the future. We have the solutions to every problem we have. But, as you say, they've been locked away. So how do we unlock that? It's by each and every one of us in our consciousness and sharing, things like the Cosmic Tower or what we know and the wisdom that we hold. And I do not believe we'll change our society because we have another politician or another CEO. No, it's grassroots. Each and every one of us are really powerful. And the more we claim that and step into that, I see a very bright future. How long it's going to take and how graceful depends on each and every one of us.
Thank you so much, Nico Martins. How can people get in touch with you, find out more about the Cosmic Tower, thewellnessenterprise.com/Nico/ And also, if you go onto the wellnessenterprise.com and go to the Cosmic Tower page or go to the page with Nico, you mentioned Cosmic Scene. You heard him on Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine. You'll get a 10% discount off of a Cosmic Tower. But what other way can they reach you if they have questions, concerns, or just want to find out more?
Yeah, they can always email us at support@thewellnessenterprise.com or go to our YouTube channel. So we have a Q&A every first Tuesday of the month at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And now it's more of a subtle energy call because I've been answering questions about the Cosmic Tower for over 2 years now. But absolutely, if people have questions, we'll be happy to answer them there. If they don't have any questions, I usually teach about subtle energy or how to become more attuned or more in resonance with
what a
life
gift.
force.
So what is the name of the YouTube channel?
It's the Wellness Enterprise.
The Wellness Enterprise. All of this information will be in the show notes as well. I want to thank you so much, Nico, for stopping by on the Cosmic Tower Road Trip Tour. What an honor and pleasure to have you in the studio today.
Well, the pleasure is mine. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this episode featuring my guest, Nico Martins, and the Cosmic Tower. Make sure you download, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star review. This is Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine, sending healing Cosmic Tower energies through the quantum field.